oops, stop. He said that with aircraft since. He's on a Gerald Ford aircraft carrier. Stuff goes way in the nose. We're in the mess in the east.
Okay, well, it's 9 a.m. and I'll call the Airport Commission to order this morning. And is there an approval or a motion to approve the minutes or any changes or corrections?
Madam Chair. Oh, go ahead.
See, as in the absence of Commissioner Tillotson, I would suggest you appoint Commissioner Van Dorn as place.
I will appoint Commissioner Van Dorn as to be able to vote, correct? Thank you. Okay, so let's look at the minutes. Is there any corrections or additions, or can we approve?
There are no additions, corrections. I move they be approved as submitted.
Or,
All those in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? It is passed. Any additional business to be added to this agenda? Okay, we'll move to the manager's report.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you
Morning.
had a great weekend. All right. So for the month of February, definitely had an exciting start, especially for the tree project, but on airport sides, we still had some equipment maintenance. As previously mentioned last month, our pickup truck with the Boss snowplow on it has been inoperable. We were on the phone with Boss trying to, troubleshoot the issue. They said a new solenoid for the actual plow itself should fix the issue. We're still awaiting that part. Hopefully we'll see it within the week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have more snow, but again, we're Michigan. So let's see here. We've also received our fuel filters for our fuel storage equipment. We started on those last week. We got our jet truck just finished up on Friday. We should be able to finish the rest of the filters this week, and shortly following that will be calibrations that are done by Sparling Corporation. Also, our New Holland tractor was having some issues with the battery. It is the original battery from 2016, so we were fortunate to get a good 9 years out of it, or almost 10. So we tried charging it, wasn't successful. We ended up replacing it, so now it's back up and good to go. Getting ready for rolling if we don't get any more snow. Grounds maintenance, as always, snow removal continued through the month of February. We had to come out, I think, twice on occasion for snow removal. During a couple warmer days, we were also able to repair some of the damaged turf surrounding the airport. Sometimes, when we're out plowing, we hit the grass. We like to keep things, nice around there. So we were able to take care of some of that on the warmer days, but we were able to also clean up trash and debris from the winter months. People on the sides of the roads, we still like to keep things up on the outside. Building repair and maintenance. Our east maintenance building is in need of some lighting replacement following a recent vacancy. They're being swapped to LEDs in both the aircraft storage space and the offices. We're also making cosmetic updates with paint, trim, flooring, and flooring improvements. With the constant changing weather, tenant complaints of stuck doors and large ice buildup have occurred throughout the month. While removing some of the ice, the seals were damaged, but we ended up replacing those right after that. So tenants should be happy and continued. Airport operations. A long-standing tenant located at our East Maintenance Shop has vacated. The name of this tenant was Heinen Avionics. You've probably heard from him, but he's a avionics shop that was on field who's been there for quite a long time. He was, I'm not sure how the whole situation went down, but he's no longer in operation, so he ended up giving up the unit and the office. This came as a bit of surprise to me because they were full speed ahead last year, and now this year it's kind of just gone dormant. So he decided not only to relinquish the aircraft maintenance shop, but also the office space as well. So he has completely left the field. The updates, let's see here, the updates that we're making to that unit will make it easier to find a new tenant. It was kind of, it's an older unit, so it was in a little bit of disarray. So we're kind of making a lot of updates, making things more desirable for another new tenant. Let's see here. Some of our options that we're looking to fill the space include other avionics mechanics, aircraft mechanics, or corporate jet traffic or other aviation-related business that would bring sufficient traffic to the field. So we're always looking to expand our, horizons in that aspect. Let's see here. February 18th and 19th, I attended the Michigan Association of Airport Executives Conference in Lansing, Michigan. Points of discussion this year included airport/aircraft accident planning and strategies, as multiple incidences have happened across the state at multiple different airports over the year. I took with me some great ideas on how to implement safety training with not only my staff, but local emergency response teams I would like to set up with to prepare for a potential aviation-related accident. I think it'd be very important for us to, keep up on that training. I was also able to network with a few vendors and have acquired new means of obtaining lighting and equipment repair parts, also aeronautical supplies. So it was a very healthy conference for me, especially in my budget side. So we're able to acquire some more items for customers at lower cost. With that, that's my manager's report.
Any questions?
I just appreciate you going to those conferences. We've talked about this many a times in the past, even when the county gets some, has budgeting problems, we still like to have our people. I know the administrator and her staff get out to those, and I mean, that networking can really be beneficial to the county. So I'm glad you attend those.
Commissioner Collins?
As it relates to the airport accident investigation or accident training, have you had any discussion with the LAPC director?
We have not, but
It may be possible, and I'm only speaking of the possibility, but it may be possible that if you approach him, he could quite possibly access some grant.
Yeah.
And develop a training program for you.
Yeah.
That would be funded through the grant.
that'd be great.
Great
I'll
idea.
look into that.
Anyone else? Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the finance report.
So the finance reports are in your packet and they're dated as of February 25th. As a reminder, although we've made some year-end adjustments, as we go through the actual audit process, we may be making some additional adjustments. So just keep that in mind as we work through the next couple months on our budget here. So far, we have a budgeted revenue of $951,704. The actual amount year-to-date is $68,005, which is about 7.15% of the budgeted revenue. On the expense side, we have $931,704 as our total expenditures against expended amounts year-to-date of $42,900, which is a 4.67% usage on our expense side. The next section down says legal phase 1. That is going to be the cost that you see for the the tree project or the navigation easement project that we are looking at. We have not had any revenue come in year-to-date, but we have had some expenditures. You see, we had a $400,000 budget on expenditures, and we have expended $92,000. So we are at 23% of that expenditure. So overall, we are sitting with about a cash balance of about $186,173. Try to answer any questions you have.
So, Administrator Murphy, so that 400,000, the 92,000 we spent, do we have to wait until it's all done to submit that, or did we submit these bills for the 92,000?
So what we do is they're submitted by way of what's called a grant application. So we work with Mead and Hunt, and they submit an application to the state of Michigan through a couple of the different programs. Once it goes through their process, that grant application comes back to the county. We review it, and if we are good with it, we sign off on it. That gets sent back, and then after a period of time, the funding comes back as a reimbursement. So it does take time, and especially with the project like we're working on right now, our carrying cost last a little bit longer than I would prefer, but we do end up getting, in most cases, the reimbursement is 90% back from federal and 5% back from state. So we only end up with a final 5% of the incurred cost. So yeah, we are still, that 400,000 was just a budgeted estimate of what we may be expending.
At least we don't have to wait until it's finalized.
Correct, right.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? No. The tree project update?
As you may know, the tree project kind of kicked off at the beginning of February. We had great success. I got reported last week on Friday that all the trees for this phase have been completely cut down, which is a huge win for us. We did run through, I believe I sent you guys an email last week. We ran through, a couple bumps in the road with the road commission. But we have since, cleared the air with that. They have reissued permits and they were able to continue moving forward. Let's see here. All the trees were cut down. Right now we are waiting frost laws to kind of, work with the Alpine Tree Service a little bit better to bring in heavy trucks to take all the stumps and all of the cleanup process. So they may be waiting for a few weeks on that. This does not put a stop to our deadline or nothing like that. And it does not cost the county any more money. It's more of a pause in their contract and then they pick right back up. So it's no harm, no foul anywhere, which is great. So they will be coming back once the frost laws kind of lift, bring in their heavy equipment to do stump grinding, restoration, stump cleanup, all that stuff. So we should be hearing more for that come next month. Another point of interest was the solar project proposal. If you guys have any questions on the tree project, I'd love to answer those.
Administrator Murphy?
I just want to comment, I do appreciate Thomas's quick action. We did get word a week, it was 2 Fridays ago, I guess, at this point, late on a Friday afternoon, that there was some concern of the Alpine vehicles being too heavy for the road, and there was some concern about damage to the roads because of the frost laws going into effect and the weight of the equipment. So I tried to get a hold of Thomas on a Friday night. He was able to get right back to me. I think 8, 9 o'clock at night we were talking. We continued to talk on Saturday and on Sunday. He was working with everyone that he could over the weekend. On Monday, they did their final push to get a meeting for everybody together by Tuesday morning. Everybody was on a Zoom call. And I will tell you that the conversation between the road commission and Alpine was very courteous, very understanding. They did a great job understanding what the requirements were, what additional permits might be needed. That Alpine was agreeable to all of those terms. And so I think that just shows Thomas's ability to get all the parties together to have that conversation, to work it out, which ended up making sure that the relationship between Alpine, the county, the airport, all of us with road commission, that relationship stayed good, because we know that we're going to have a phase 2, we're going to have a phase 3. And this kind of read the road commission into the project a little bit more also to get a better understanding. So hopefully going forward, we all learned a little lesson about when these projects, when the tree removal projects should take place and who we need to have at the table. So, but I just wanted to say thank you to Thomas for working with me over the weekend, keeping me posted, and getting that meeting put together so that we could move that project forward. Because at one point we were concerned that that project was going to come to a halt and not be able to continue. So it was due to his efforts that we were able to continue as we are.
Well, that Friday night turned out to be a great date night, huh?
I went by there on Cadmus and it was the most massive tree I've ever seen that was being cut down. It was, I think it was over this past weekend, and I was like, well, they are busy working. Excellent. Okay, did you want to go to the solar project?
Nobody else has any questions. So, I received from the administrator's office a kind of like proposal for a, solar project from Rouget Solar Farm. After digging a little bit deeper into this, it is within our 10-mile radius of the airport zoning. I believe the documents were attached, but they were kind of smushed. If you look here on the map, the big red X is where the proposed solar farm is supposedly going to go. And it is also, I believe, say there's another location slightly above that, but they're still both within the 10-mile radius. I know that the administrator's office, or I believe maybe you, Jim, possibly asked for a, solar glare study done. I believe they still have not yet to do that. I have contacted, well, I looked at the website and I contacted them and I left a message. I have not received anything back from them. But I just wanted to keep you guys updated on that. I have contacted Stephanie at Meeting Hunt for, consultant services on something like this, because this is a fairly large project. I haven't received anything back from her yet, but I will be sure to check in with that and get back to you guys as soon as possible.
Yes.
So the reason I wanted Thomas to look into this is, we've been hearing a lot about solar projects. We've been hearing a lot about wind turbines, that
Mhm.
sort of thing. We know with wind turbines, our ordinance will go into effect and limit that within the 10-mile radius. However, the solar farms, really, we can't do too much about them.
Mhm.
This company contacted us, a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that, to let us know that they are looking at leasing property. And we had a discussion with Corporation Counsel and drafted a letter back to this company asking that they provide us copies of a glint and glare kind of study. They have not gotten back to us at all. In fact, this notice that we received indicated that February 10th at 10:30 a.m. was going to be the hearing to consider this project. We didn't get it until I think the 9th or the 10th. We got it right at the deadline of the hearing. And so there really wasn't much that we could do there other than to make ourselves aware of where the project is. So that is why I asked the airport manager to take a look at this to see if it fell within our 10-mile radius. The other reason I wanted him to look at it is because of the magnitude of this project.
Mhm.
So for those of us that are listening, I just wanted to indicate that after the location of where it's going to be, that said, according to the application, the applicant would begin construction in the first quarter of 2027 with commercial operation anticipated in mid to late 2028. As proposed, the project has a total leased area of approximately 2,133 acres, of which approximately 1,606 acres would be distributed as part of the site activities, and of which approximately 1,042 acres will be fenced in for the solar farm. That's a big project. And so I just wanted us to be aware that this is potentially going to happen. We may not see anything right away, but unfortunately, when it comes to the solar farms, we do not have a lot that we can do to prevent them. It's more of up to a local ordinance on what that looks like. But this is going to be taking place, as you can see, more in the southeast corner of our county. And I think this is just one of potentially several that we have heard that may want to come into Lenawee County. So this is just more for you to be aware.
These two locations are one project.
I believe there might be a picture. It's kind of like an outline. You go right there. That hashed outline, I believe, is a ton of parcels that are going to be.
Mm.
And I don't believe that's all of them. This is just what I found on their website.
Yeah, if you go down Ford Highway, you'll see all of the barriers that they put up for water management, and it's quite a district. So,
I mean, you can see the boundaries right there in this map for Palmyra Township and how much of that township is going to be solar farm.
Mhm.
so is,
Oh, yes.
so is our request for the glare report on file with them? I mean, did it get to them?
Yeah, it was sent by certified letter. They have it, but there's no obligation for them to comply. We can request it.
Okay.
Because at first I was pushing back, on whether a solar farm could be located within the 10-mile radius of the airport.
Mhm.
And that's why I got Corporation Council involved, because my concern would be depending on the day, the sun and the angle of those solar panels, what does that look like for a pilot trying to fly their plane in? And
Mhm.
I'm not a pilot. I know we have others here that are pilots, but to me, it just doesn't make logical sense that it could be located fairly close to an airport because I feel like it could create a visual impairment. But we do not have a leg to stand on right now. This is up to more of a local zoning than for our concerns. So local zoning has apparently, or lack of zoning, not sure which it is there, has allowed for this potentially to take place.
I think it's the new legislation that went through that allowed it to go to public
Mm.
service. Commission.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any other questions? No? Any public comment? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?